been their sister team, SKT, which has used it very well. But that's a tricky champion that requires really precision rotations in order to pull off. And we've seen a lot of these Korean teams try and use it, and it just hasn't been as good as some other jungle pickups.
All right, so bans going down for this game two between SKT, T1, and Incredible Miracle. The S Squad banning out two mid champions, possibly trying to pigeonhole Mid King into something he's not comfortable with. Mid King now used to be contested as one of the best mid players in Generation 1 for League of Legends in Korea, but has really fallen off and really didn't switch his champion pool, so this isn't too surprising. And then Gragas and Sivir Thresh banned out from IM.
Yeah, SK Telecom has to the Thresh ban, no real surprise. Coming in here, Wolf, Thresh, and Sona really are his bread and butter. They like to play these pokey lanes, and that is a very fast Yasuo pickup. Now, Mid King can play middly into this very effectively. I'm curious if that's even going to be on his radar. We've also seen that counter pick a couple of times now of the Exhaust Karthus, and Mid King is one of the quintessential Karthus players here in Korea. So this is going to be a champion he's very familiar with if he wants to play it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out. And Lee Sin and Elise immediately locked in. Of course, we didn't see jungle bans this game, which is something we're not used to. But that leaves both of them open, so each team taking one for themselves.
And honestly, you know, who the hell knows? Marin could be playing Yasuo in the top lane as well. This may be some sort of mind game going on right here to inspire a Karthus pickup. And I think that it's smart right now for IM just to go ahead and wait to try and get some more information about where that champion is going. And there's the Caitlyn and the Lulu taken right away. So I will say that from what I've seen in North American scrims, when I've seen the Lulu-Yasuo mid lane matchup, that matchup goes very poorly for Lulu unless you take Exhaust.
Right.
Or Barrier. It looks like he's taking Barrier here. So he needs some sort of more defensive summoner though, because Yasuo can really be a big Lulu bully early on in the game.
Yep, well that's where Yasuo excels, while Zyra and Lucian are going to be locked in for Team 1S. So things still a bit mysterious for IM. They have to make the call now though. They have to finish out their picks first, as they were first pick on the blue side.
Lucian, Zyra, heavy harass, hard pressure, but that's the style that SK Telecom has really gone with over the course of their career. They love being able to take down that first tower and then start making those snappy rotations.
Yeah, and also for those of you guys who are first tuning into Masters, if you missed Thursday's broadcast, the coaches are in the booth for picks and bans. So we see them right now behind Mid King, kind of coaching them through, giving some opinions themselves to make sure they get the most optimal composition in their game, looking at a potential Renekton and Leona pick to finish off IM's team.
Yeah, they're interesting picks here. I am number one. Probably a little bit confused about that Yasuo. We'll see where it ends up going. Mid King actually switching over to Ignite on this Lulu. So I have to say, I think S has a favorable mid lane matchup if that's the champion that EasyHoon is going to take into mid, and they're deciding what they're going to do right here.
Yeah, our observer just showing us that all these high damage mid lane carries are still open should Yasuo go top and EasyHoon want to carry with something else. And there are a lot. LeBlanc is still there. Rise, of course, not favorite these days. But if they pick up Zac, it's most likely going to be a Yasuo mid. I wouldn't imagine it any other way.
Yeah, Ozone played a Yasuo Zac composition in Game 2 of the Champions Winter Finals, and it didn't really work out for them. But Orianna works very well with Yasuo as well. You get that knock up from the shockwave, sucking everybody in, and then hitting them all with a nice Yasuo R.
Yeah, you also have the Stranglethorns coming in from Zyra, so you don't have to always get perfect timing and distance with Orianna. Orianna can kick things off with the Shockwave, the Stranglethorns comes out, and then Marin can close distance and jump in. Of course, the ultimate on Yasuo has huge range anyway, so not big of an issue. And it is confirmed we will see Yasuo in that top lane, Orianna in mid for EasyHoon.
Well, I have no idea how the Yasuo-Renekton matchup shakes out.
So Renekton usually, especially solo queue, people are like, well, I see Yasuo, I'm going to go Renekton, because you can't block anything with Wind Wall that Renekton uses. So Renekton can really bully him in lane. However, this might be Marin's chance to show some of his roaming. Yeah, you know, Yasuo can clear lanes very fast, get through, dash away from Renekton, and then go roam to that mid lane.
He's going to have to do that post 6, however, so he's got a little bit of a wait before that happens, and let's take a look at some of these lineups.
All right, so Marin going to be playing that Yasuo top we just talked about. Horo showing off some jungle. Lee Sin once again. Easy doing on Orianna mid. Bang playing Lucian as the AD carry, and Wolf supporting with Zyra. Seeing 2 Zyra games in a row today in that support role.
I'm really excited to see this Chobra because, you know, we haven't had a lot of opportunity to see hard carry top laners in the current meta, and it's fun to see something different.
On the IM side of things, it's going to be Renekton in that top lane, played by Smeb. Lilac as Jungle Elise, Mid King in that mid Lulu 2 games in a row also. And Violet, AD carry Caitlyn, and Booing playing Leona. This is game 2 of SKT versus IM. SKT T1 currently leading 1-0 as K took out IM number 2. But can one bring it back? I'm so excited for this Yasuo top lane matchup. We talked about kind of the advantages and disadvantages, but it's time for Marin to maybe prove himself. S looks very happy, while one looks a bit nervous, as they should be, to tie this matchup between these 2 organizations.
Well, this requires perfect execution to pay off right here. They've got to make sure they get those Ori and Zyra ults on at the right time in order to take advantage of the Yasuo. Should be good.
All right, let's get into the game. Game number 2, Masters 2014, SKT versus IM. All right, so as they switch sides, it's going to be IM number 1 on the blue side, with SKT T1S on the purple side.
Well, interestingly, Relic Shield coming out first right here for viewing. So a little bit different than we're used to seeing here. I guess, you know, a lot of players favoring that Doran's Shield start these days.
Yep, not too surprising, of course, as it is a melee champion, but like you said, Doran's Shield allowing for a lot more trades and just more sustain in that lane. The other thing about Renekton versus Yasuo is Renekton just has better sustainability in lane. Of course, Yasuo has a shield, but it's not that great until later levels, unless you want to shove your lane with your dash to charge up that shield as your passive. So
it's also really interesting that Marin is starting Doran's Blade here instead of something more passive. It looks like he wants to trade really hard early and make sure that he can out-bully this Renekton on the creep line. I think it's a pretty risky decision.
You know, if Horo gives great cover, though, possibly something Marin can make happen. It is going to result in a lot of shoving, however, just the nature of Yasuo's kit. So we'll see how that works out. Early, we're just seeing the standard line with just a couple wards going down, not too many either.
And it's worth noting, too, that the reason why Buing has exhaust here is to deal with Yasuo in the late game. You really need some sort of exhaust, and Marin going on a ward mission early, checking out where the jungler is starting. And actually, both dual lanes leashing. This is something that we don't typically see in other regions anymore, just because that hard press early on is so important to see who gets level 3 faster and therefore get a good trade in. A little bit of a difference right there. In the LCS regions, leashing has stopped nearly entirely.
Now Marin just going to go ahead and use his Q every time it's off. Meanwhile, this guy, his girlfriend actually dragged him here. He has never played League of Legends before, but his girlfriend is a huge fan. Not too common in the Yosan Stadium, but one of these days, I knew it would happen.
Okay, well, back and forth here in the mid lane. I'm so excited to see this. I really hope that this is an indication of SK Telecom S really finding their identity and allowing Marin to carry out of the top lane and then using Easy Hoon for more kind of CC and control mages, which is something he's always excelled at.
So Marin did spot that blue timing from Lilac as he's going around and finishing the blue side jungle, but it didn't matter too much as Smeb was the one pushing the lane anyway.
And level 6 as well, you know, once we start looking at that second blue buff coming up, the 3v3 from SK Telecom S on a possible blue invade should eclipse that of IM number 1. So they may be going for some bold play early. Marin with some tornado harassment right there.
Just keeping things somewhat even. Horo was not able to gank, just left a ward there to make sure that Marin could feel safe as he's farming and possibly trading more blows. Lilac looking for a window of opportunity in this mid lane against Easy, and lane is looked up, but that's way too many minions for IM to try to make something happen, so Lilac just backs off.
All right, well, yeah, just pushing forward. Easy doing up, a little bit of a level right now. There we go. Mid King finally catching up. Bang and Wolf. Yeah, that's a difficult lane to deal with right there with Shield Leona.
Comes up into this top lane. Slice and Dice was just used. Smeb has no escape. There's the flash of the slow onto Smeb, waiting for possible escape, but then gets the first blood with that execution kick.
Good heads-up play from Smeb there, not to go ahead and flash. He knew that the follow from the resonating strike was already there, so not making that decision to come in. Wise choice. And he'll just head right back up to lane, and fortunately for him, Marin not actually getting that kill. Marin, however, hard pushing in, looking for an opportunity to go back, buy up. And Smeb picks up a Doran's Blade, so he realizes he needs some extra stats pronto. Yep. And looking for that very efficient item to help him in his quest to lane against Marin. So Marin recalling and probably going to pick up an Avarice Blade.
Well, mid lane, Easy Hoon just keeping Mid King very low, forcing him to use all of those consumables that he brought to lane.
Interesting, he actually picked up another Doran's Blade and boot, so both players really committing to some early game play right here.
This is interesting. They're both going to hit level 6 shortly, and Renekton, and that's the last part of this matchup, is that Renekton's ultimate gives him that extra health, not really allowing Yasuo to melt him down even with that armor tank.
Yeah, he's going to need Lee Sin's help right there. So, you know, we're seeing a typical Lee Sin build in Korea, which is razors into Merc treads. And you know, a lot of people don't use this in the other regions, but if you can farm up, you know, it does give you some pretty good advantages come around the late game, and it just gives you that extra little bit of speed.
Oh, well. The burst coming in from Easy Hoon, and Horo comes in, does get the kick from the shockwave, but has to leave as he sees Lilac coming in. And also, Tower was a bit too close there in that mid lane.
Yeah, Lilac was the big reason, though, there wasn't a finisher on that. He also didn't have flash, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. Lilac scoping out the bottom lane right now, seeing if they can get a kill right here, just due to kind of the all-in nature of Leona. They need that jungler, and they may be able to take advantage of it. They got to push it up. Lilac waiting and try for... Looks like it's going to be quite a while with that cannon minion there. They're going.
Oh, they actually just jumped right in. Lilac going to be the one in the game to die, but he actually gets snared, so he has to go up with Repel. Dies with that W coming up from Bang. Exhaust slowed him down, but not enough as he fires his skill off rather than an auto attack.
Well, that was a very sloppy gank coming in right there. You know, they got impatient, didn't use the wave. Mid King, however, just going to get...
He is going to die. No, he's actually going to live and possibly gets this counter kill against Easy. No! Wow, the shields on both of these champions keeping them alive. Meanwhile, a dive in top lane, but Yasuo gets too low, so Smeb is going to survive that one.
Now, that was almost a mirror of what happened in game 1 right there, where the aggressor flashing under the tower nearly, you know, taken out.
Yeah, Easy Hoon got a bit overeager. Had to back off, and Smeb now with that failed dive from Marin and Horo is going to be able to farm up, push up, and then go back home to match some items. Still no Avarice Blade, by the way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. His build is a little odd, going for those Zerkers early on. Will give him that extra mobility, though, which should give him more shields as well against this Renekton, maybe part of the motivation. But I'm curious as to whether we're going to see that blue invade right here in the 3v3. It looks like Lee Sin heading back down to his jungle. They will pass off the blue to Orianna instead. So got my hopes up for nothing, Jobra.
Well, I still have my hopes for a non-static shift build on Yasuo, because I've been searching for a practical one for a very long time, and I have failed to find one. So we'll see what Marin goes for.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how this is going to pan out as well. I mean, it still could turn into static shiv, and this is just designed for a prolonged laning phase. Horo taking a look around, looking to the side of the dragon pit right here.
Not really finding any opportunities. Good warding coming out from IM. Keeps tabs on Horo, who's just going to steal some race. Not even. Puts in a deep ward. Checks red. IM should know that he's still in their jungle because he hasn't left out of the 2 exits they have warded. Just wards, very deep wards coming out from Horo.
Yeah, that's a good run through the jungle right there. And you can see how a lot of these SK Telecom teams play. You know, they don't have any qualms about using their jungler to run through in a complex pattern and get multiple deep wards in, even if there's nothing really to counter jungle right there. And you know, K very famous for this. They will sacrifice experience on Bengi simply to get the vision advantage in order to have their lanes, you know, have a little bit of an easier time.
Lilac looking for another gank. Has been very quiet this game so far. It's 9 minutes in, and he's only had really one gank and 2 covers. So looking for a possible kill in that top lane. But Horo's coming up too, so this is going to turn into a 2v2, which normally I would favor Elise and Renekton. There's Yasuo going in, but gets cocooned right away. Smeb is melted down, but he uses the ult to bring his health back up and get that kill onto Marin.
Yeah, Mid King on the rotation as well, so they're trying to see if they can turn this into a tower. The question is, you know, will SK Telecom react in any way whatsoever? They're pretty far away from Dragon right now, but they're going to push in both bottom and mid lane pushed. And are they going to rush Dragon right now with Horo?
Coming down possibly for a gank under that tower. They're keeping it pushed. There is a ward there, so IM won't be taken by surprise, but can they still survive it with the shockwave coming in? Leona actually goes in first against Wolf. There goes the shockwave, flashes out of it, doing nice save for himself. Does get knocked up by the Stranglethorns, but way at the edge. Zabuing survives that game.
Yeah, but the question now is, are they chunked enough that Dragon is possible for SKTS? And no, they're not going to do it. Interesting choice right there, but maybe waiting for their opponents to back. Horo going around the side. He sees Buing and Violet. There he comes, gets the Q.
Oh, he's going to go in for the kick backwards. Violet flashes out of those snares, but he still gets melted down. Just so much damage coming out from Bam right now with that BF sword. Meanwhile, mid, he's going to take a lot of damage, gets slowed, and then knocked off by Lulu. Is going to go down. Lilac finally getting a kill for his team.
Yeah, well, Lilac too. I mean, he had a good gank up in the top lane as well. And coming into that one, knowing that the shockwave and the flash was down from EasyHoon, that was a great decision there to all in that circumstance. And they'll go ahead and find a pink ward in that brush, or there we go, turning around.
That brush, man, so tricky. So many teams have walked right by those pink wards. So with those ganks, just very crucial ganks from Lilac, opens things up a bit for both top and mid lane. Look at Smeb just handling this lane so well, and this is the problem Renekton versus Yasuo, is that if you don't get the kill first, you really have no answer, and Renekton can go with aggressive items. Yeah, look at that Brutalizer. That's a little bit odd right there. Take a look at this again. So Horo tagging Violet right there, then actually safeguarding dual ward, doing the insect, popping him over against the lane wall and picking up a kill for his team. Yeah, I mean, even by dodging that snare, it wasn't enough. Just the damage output from the Zyra plants and a BF sword on Lucian is enough to melt down any other AD carry. All right, well, Horo and Marin returning to this top lane together right now. Top turn's really burned down, but yeah, Brutalizer on Renekton, so just an extremely aggressive build, trying to chunk Marin out of lane. It's working. He's up in CS now by 20. Also has that kill going for him. So Marin going to have a bit of a tough time, hasn't really had time to roam around anywhere else. Does get that Avarice Blade now for the extra gold input and leading up to that static shiv. Okay, Lilac here in the mid lane again. Flashback up for EasyHoon though, so it's unlikely they're going to pull a kill out of this one. Horo and Marin coming down. Ooh, I like what we're seeing. This is wacky. A 3v3 potentially brewing in this mid lane. Neither team has vision of the other one. They all think that
you can guess though. You can guess.
Yeah, everyone's missing from their respective areas. So SKT T1S going to be the first team to back off, and then Buing and Lilac doing the same for themselves. There they see through the tri-brush, Marin coming back up into that lane. Renekton get a little bit aggressive right there, and that'll be a tower down in favor of IM #1, and they'll take the lead off of that one. Yep, so Smeb just going to go ahead, doesn't care for the last set on the tower, and takes the next wave. Now bothers Marin some more, and actually takes the big golem too. So the problem with going a build like the one we're seeing Renekton
go for is that in a team fight capacity, he's going to get melted a lot quicker than this Yasuo, just because Yasuo has that shield that he can refresh it upon ulting, and Yasuo can also just catch multiple people in his ult right there. So it does make this Renekton very squishy, and it's going to be some time before he gets that tankiness that he needs in order to team fight in the late game. So if you look at SKTS, I think they've got the better 5v5 now in spite of being a little bit down.
And they're going to go for that dragon finally. They found the kill they wanted. The wards are somewhat cleared. Of course, IM has an idea. And are they going to look for a mid lane gank to use against SKT T1? I don't think so, as Horo's making his way back up mid. Smeb still on standby next to Lilac, though.
There's a lot of mystery, however. Marin getting a bit of free farm up here. He is down significantly to Smeb in terms of CS. Easy hook. The outside right there. Not getting fooled by Sneaky Croc.
So Easy just going to farm up. Bottom lane has just been great farming throughout. Bang and Wolf ahead. And Smeb going back up top to make Marin's life miserable once again.
That's going to be pretty effective at that. Lilac is here. Marin is squishy. Lilac chooses not to use Cocoon right over the wall right there. Looks like there's some opportunity to, at least to get some damage down.
Getting harassed by that goal. While IM's bottom lane has actually been forced to go back and take double gold whenever they can, because they're being pressured so hard. And look at the ward. Actually, bottom tower just goes down now in favor of T1S, and look at the warding from S in that bottom section of the map. Every intersection, buff, and then dragon is covered.
They've managed to exert a lot of pressure thanks to the long-range harassment inside Revolution. So they need to make sure that they can keep it up, keep taking those objectives along the bottom side of the map right here. And there's a rotation coming in. Looks like we may see that 3-man up in the mid lane. Get some damage on the mid turret as well. Big King grabs the blue buff, and nope, they'll just go up to the Dragon Pit and recall.
Easyun also just gonna check his fields and maybe go for the raids now, you know, going for another deep ward. So similar to what we saw from Cade, the entire bottom section of the jungle, every path is lit up, and there's no way that IM can hide the bottom side now.
More double call on farming there from Smeb. And Horo kind of wandering around somewhat aimlessly at the moment. He's not making too many plays, and actually the Wolfbang bot lane headed back down to push. And they look like SK Telecom S looks like they're very happy with the current situation, just allowing Easy Hoon and Marin to farm up in the empty lanes. No signs of early grouping. A little bit of a rotation punishment right there from Wolf. Seeing how safe he is. He knows that nobody saw him go into that brush from the pink ward and try.
Yep. So good play from the bottom lane on S, just keeping things pressured. Easy Hoon putting out enough damage to Mid King that Mid King can't initiate the fight, but being aware of the gank, clashes out from that solar flare and is safe. Meanwhile, top lane, Marin does initiate a fight against Smeb, but Smeb happy to trade. Horo comes in though, now it's a 2v1. Is Horo going to chase? Flashes away from the shockwave, and Smeb will be safe.
Marin finally having that static shift, so he should be able to fight back with a little bit of wave clear right now. Pink Ward sees this gank coming in. Lilac looking for an angle on Bang and Wolf. They may have overextended a bit. Viewing here as well, and
Bang is
goodbye,
caught
Bang.
without an escape. Tries to flash away, but wow, Leona follows through. You know, that's a good thing about Leona, though, is that happens all the time, that you follow through no matter what kind of movement you try to juke with.
Well, good if you're the Leona player. The Leona's on your team, I suppose. Easy Hoon, however, he's going to punish this. That mid lane very close to going down. However,
oh, a nice wild growth. The shockwave tries to keep things safe, but Easy Hoon's still going to go down first. Wolf, of course, wasn't really hurt by any of that. Oh, Horo tries to come in for revenge, but Booney's here also, so IM should be safe with the 3 of them under the tower. Wolf and Marin also just going to back off. So Mid King should be pretty happy now, 1-0-2. He's down in CS, but Easy Hoon has had to deal with these ganks and dying.
Well, I mean, in this situation, there we finally have this tower being pressed up, and it looks like, no, they will be able to defend it, actually. Nice job by Viewing and Lilac. that one alive. Marin going for it.
Gets the exhaust and the solar flare, but he still goes in with his ultimate thanks to Horo initiating that fight. The wind wall blocks some hits from Mid King, but he's not going to be able to escape. Almost gets the kill onto Lilac. Not enough damage.
Very much over-aggressive from Marin right there. He could have waited for EasyHoon to get back in and siege the tower properly, or waiting for Bang to get back up there. Violet sees Horo, and Horo forced to W onto a ward in order to escape the Caitlyn. So a little bit sloppy from SKTS. You don't want to make those plays unless you're sure that you're going to be able to get that tower and get out. And I think he has some other options within 15 seconds reach of his team for that tiny amount of damage left on the mid turret, and instead gives up another kill. Marin actually getting a Vamp Scepter now, so not going straight into that Infinity Edge.
Yep, possibly just feeling that maybe he wants a bit more sustain, thinks he can survive a bit longer in these duels or even teamfights that may break out soon. And like you said, we're seeing just a bit of impatience, not just from Marin though, everyone from T1S not making very clear decisions. Horo has been roaming without much direction for the past couple of minutes now. IM, meanwhile, has been much clearer about their pathing, even if they're seen by wards.
Yeah, Lilac obviously having a much bigger effect on this game in spite of that kind of traumatic early gank in the bot lane where he gave up a kill where he really shouldn't have, but everything else really going quite well for IM #1. You know, this is really why we see the meta is the way it is right now, because you know, not having a tank in your team with how powerful tanks are given the defensive mastery tree and everything like that is going to be very detrimental. Not catching him with the solar flare right there.
And they were standing on that ward, also used both lenses, so have to wait. Oh, does not get the seal. Horo jumps in, and that leads to a wild growth onto him. Lilac not getting the kill, though, leads actually to a nice ultimate from Marin. Comes in, gets the kill onto Lilac. Can Smev do enough? No, he's gonna melt. We talked about this, his decision-making with items has made him a bit softer than normal tanky Renekton's, and Viewing now just caught. Oh, he's actually gonna get away, maybe?
No, the now by the minion wave.
Oh, there as a ward Viewing, just trying to do all tricks to make something happen, but eventually gives a kill too easy.
So.
Oh, Wolf actually gonna go down with one last auto tag from Mid King. This is a very powerful Lulu right now.
A very sloppy team fight there from kind of both sides, and yeah, that Renekton build has got the Sunfire now, so he's gonna have a little bit of extra tankiness. Marin, a little bit of damage to Violet, but Violet gets out with the 90 caliber net. Rubuff handed over to Mid King once again, but of course the wild growth is going to help on that Renekton sword. So taking a look right here, early shockwave actually, and so it's not there for Marin to utilize when he comes into the fight. Viewing gets low, but does manage to pick a couple people up with his ultimate right there. Smith on the backside does get a fair amount of his channel on his ult off, and then it's just the great Viewing chase through the jungle.
You know, that's what we talked about early though. Even if the shockwave has been used, there's the Dragon's Rage, there is the Stranglethorns. Both of those other ultimates helping Marin get into the fight and put out some more damage, leading to a kill against Lilac.
Yeah, you know, the more that I watch Orianna play in the current meta, I get increasingly convinced that it's almost always, unless you're trying to create a pick, if you're in a 5v5 situation, better to save your ult. And this comes from watching players like Ryu, who will wait and wait and wait to use their ultimate instead of initiating with it, while Mid King getting caught out a little bit.
But he should be safe. Actually, turns things around with the solar flare. Viewing flies over the wall with a nice catch. And now he's going to have to escape as the Culling comes in. Lots of damage coming in from EasyHoon. But Violet comes in for backup alongside Lilac to save both of their teammates.
Yeah, the reason why I say that is I feel that if you save that ultimate, if you wait till the other team is truly committed to the team fight, it increases your odds of hitting multiple members. Yeah, especially when you have this Yasuo as well. If you can really force them to get a good wind wall down and then get that brutal ult and ult combo in.
Yeah, could be devastating against IM. T1S still hasn't really had an ideal moment in this game. They're waiting to make something happen. Marin is now off, just pushing as much as he can since he has that static shiv. After the Vamp Scepter, he has gone back to a BF Sword, most likely leading into the trademark IE shiv build for Yasuo's.
Yep. Well, EasyHoon also picking up the death cap after his feed, so maximizing his damage right here, trying to get to the AP instead of a little more magic. Marin is standing in a ward.
Just waiting, just watching how the minions hit each other. Mid King has opted to upgrade his boots first before finishing that Lich lane. I think it was just fine seeing how much damage he can put out. Should have enough gold soon to upgrade that and finish the Lich Bane though.
Pretty passive play right here so far. I mean, not too many kills. And dead even effectively in terms of gold. I have to say, I am number one is impressing me.
They're playing it very well. They're not the ones with better vision, but they are the ones making the picks. So T1S has to figure something out for themselves here. On the map, they should have the advantage, but they're not doing much with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like watching SK Telecom S. They know they should ward, but they don't know what to do with that information, really. So they're not making very decisive rotations or finding angles in order to actually take the edge here. It is, I will say, it is a little bit hard for them because right now the split pushing advantage goes to IM, but if you want to force a team fight, you have to have some objective in order to force it over. And without the Dragon,
the flash stun onto Ezio. They're committing a lot. A 3-man shockwave trying to keep himself alive. Ezio will eventually go down to that ace in the hole. Smeb quite tanky. Now Stranglethorns comes in, does knock off only viewing, and then the Dragon's Rage still Baron not able to come through as he's pushing that bottom lane. And Lilac trying to look for another kill, does get snared, but they should take that mid tower. Very unfortunate timing for T1S.
Yeah, they lost the tier 2 though, so IM number 2 really has to get even more out of this one. They could set up for Dragon right now if they have the proper pinks to control the vision, but they're just gonna back off, not taking that advantage. So tower trade, but that tower trade goes in favor of SKTS. Everybody recalling. Here's the drag setup. Smeb may not have his ultimate up for this one.
Yeah, he's going to be much squishier. They have to invest a lot into that dive. Meanwhile, Lilac gets caught, is going to jump to that Wraith and the Cocoon onto Ban to escape.
Yeah, that delay, however, puts him 30 seconds, about 20 seconds out after his recall to getting to that Dragon, so he will be late at this point. So that has actually created a potential window for SKTS to do the Dragon right now. If they rush it, they may be able to get it, especially with that Dominant is still going to be on cooldown. They really just need to rush the Dragon right now. Before Lilac gets back, Lilac just making his way out of the base. He is not going to be there in time.
All right, 5 seconds until it spawns. Mid King putting out some good zones here, especially to keep Bang away also along with Smeb pushing out this middle lane. And that's forcing T1S to actually tunnel back towards that mid. Solar Flare catches Ezio with the slow, but not the stun. And then uses his shield, command protect, to soak some of that damage from the ace in the hole. And this allows IM to start pressuring this mid tower.
Yeah, IM1 played that really well, delaying by pushing up the mid lane and kind of zoning out, kind of creating a slanted line towards the Dragon. They prevented any kind of Dragon play right there and threatened the tier 2 turret, which is getting quite low. Now they're turning around. They got all 5.
All right, so IM starting this Dragon. They, of course, were spotted. The Dragon fell, but can T1S turn this into a fight? Viewing looking for a pick. He has the perfect angle. He is going to get the stun onto Marin. Jumps right in. There's the Stranglethorns, but it's not going to do enough. Marin, too scared to jump back in. Waits for his perfect moment as Lee Sin gets the first kill onto Lulu. Smeb still puts out a lot of damage. That Brutalizer helping him out. Lilac has been zoned out now. Command Protect going onto Bang. Should he want to chase, but that's just a 1-1 trade, so IM still in the end comes out on top because they got that Dragon.
Yep. Well, that was just a solid map control there from IM number 1 in order to turn that into something. No objective will be taken by SKTS. Vision advantage going in favor of IM number 1 right now. They finally managed to get some wards up around that Dragon, some good pinks deep in the blue side jungle. Viewing. Right. Now they're going to try and control this Baron right here.
Lilac.
So I think they were making sure that they weren't doing Baron right there, so he repelled up to get vision over the pit. Just as a cautionary measure because they didn't have any wards.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he jumped in and half health to go in and start that Baron. Bang gets his red buff. Ezio meanwhile protecting that tier 1 bottom tower for T1S. And earlier in the fight, that's just the trouble with Marin is even if you don't kill him, if he's low health, most of his damage comes out after his ultimate with that armor pen. the ultimate itself isn't really the killing blow. So if you can keep him low, even if he comes in with a knockup, you can just melt him back, and he won't be able to use those 15 seconds of huge extra boosted armor pen.
Yeah, SKTS right now, they have the talisman advantage, so they really need to just punish IM #1 for being out of position. They've got to get vision control somewhere and then try and create a pick or force a team fight immediately around an objective for IM #1 to position themselves properly. That's the advantage that if you have a talisman and the enemy doesn't give you, or if you have that similar that it gives you, you get all of that mobility. They got to do something with it right now. That is the big edge that they've got.
Well, Smeb and Marin back to the roots of just top lane pressuring coming out from Smeb, and I am actually looking to maybe force T1S into a position here. They're waiting for Violet, surely, to rejoin before making a team decision. That bottom tier 1 also has not been taken down yet. It has about half health left on it. Of course, can be melted fairly quick at this point of the game with a Caitlyn.
Well, SKTS, they're not going to win this game by doing what they're doing right now. There's not a lot of tools to deal with this Renekton split pushing in the top lane. They've got to get that vision control back and surprise IM #1.
IM grips up in mid, 5-man in the mid. They've got wards to cover some of their flanks. Meanwhile, blue buff being taken for easy. Hard now just farming up before he joins his teammates again. Like you said, this, IM is happy to keep this going, and T1S is really the ones having to make a hard decision here. Tons of pings going down.
There we go, IM #1 making a rotation. They've been very decisive about 5-manning in this game and getting some of these turrets down. They finally out-rotate SKTS, and they'll pick up another tower for free. They've got great vision coming in. They see Lucian and Yasuo heading through that red side jungle, disengage immediately, take that goal. And get out.
A good play from IM1. He's even speeding up his teammates, but really with no destination to go to. And IM actually sees that T1S was indecisive and now forces them to walk all the way around to try to defend this inhibitor turret. Great play from IM to keep things there. A nice culling from the side to clear that wave, though.
Yeah, it's a really important use of that ultimate, at least to save the turret and buy time for the next wave to show up while the rest of SKTS's members congregate. IM #1 back in the jungle, however, remember that tier 2 turret in mid lane is quite low right now, and they're trying to zone Bang out. Bang gets hit by the ace in the hole, but Command Protect absorbing a little bit of that damage. There we go.
And tier 2 is already at half health too, and Caitlyn right now quite fed, has good items, has that Bloodthirsty stacked up. Should be able to take down towers quite quickly, but the wave was way too far behind to stay and tank that tower. Oh, Smeb's gonna catch Horo, gets the stun down. They do have that much damage grouped with them, though, so of course he's gonna be able to safeguard out. The Solar Flare onto Mars, but gets blocked by the wind wall. Mars stays alive for just a bit longer. The shield helping him a ton. Also, Command Protect. Great Shockwave, 4-man Shockwave leading to an ultimate combo from Yasuo, and now it's T1S chasing through with the Slaughterfest. Lilac has to flash out. Horo's gonna chase in, go for the kill. Violet has to run all the way back home. Shouldn't really try to trade right now. You're gonna get caught. Slowed by Wolf. Wolf flashes forward to get the kill onto Lilac. Bang is gonna live with that barrier and safeguard. What a play.
I don't even know what to say about that, Chubra. That was just a perfect use of Shockwave and Yasuo ultimate right there. The problem is they don't have a tank in order to actually take a Baron or an objective. They're all too low. Violet trying to get some wards down. He's looking for that ace in the hole right there. He's not going to find it. Dodges the root.
Oh, he's actually going for a 2v1 duel, but now with both of them there. Oh, nice flashes from both AD carries, and Wolf goes down. Has been ditched by his carry Bang.
Late game Caitlyn, it's pretty powerful. And I like the use of the wards right there from Violet, just trying to find an angle. He still had his ultimate up, but by the end of that fight, he didn't have any more mana, so he couldn't follow up at all. And there we go, easy Hoon. So, I mean, that was a great fight from SKT, but you know, you got to be able to get something out of it. They got absolutely nothing. Let's check that out. Marin gets caught. He blocks the engage right there from Viewing and forces Viewing to flash on top of him. 4-man shockwave and just a devastating combo coming in. And that'll be the death of most of IM #1. Horo, a little bit of chasing on the cleanup right there. Lilac manages to proc his Hex Drinker. Or coming in, Wolf from the side here.
Nice kill. Now, we've got to give props to Violet, though. The fact that he kept his distance that entire time, wasn't caught by Orianna, allowed him to get the kill as quickly as he could onto Marin, really saved IM a lot more trouble, because if Marin was still alive, he would have chased Violet to the end of the world there.
Yeah, we look at that, though, and we look at the gold totals back, you know, approximately even, but still in this game, and it's probably going to take multiple team fights like the one we saw from SKT to come back, because every time, just with the champions that these guys have, SKT isn't going to be high health enough to take that Baron or take a tower afterwards, and you can't count on 4-man shockwave ult combos every time, so probably the last time IM #1 is going to be grouped up like that. And so IM #1, in spite of things appearing even in terms of gold total, they still have a large advantage in this game. They have a large lead.
All right, so T1S, we're kind of back to square one. They just caught up in gold, that's all. Same positions. T1S really just they can't really move first. They're always reacting in terms of map position, as IM is the one with a better agenda, it seems, when you look at their movement on the map. One ward still wasn't fully erased, so IM is spotted somewhat. Violet just hanging out in the back. Violet has been very good this game about staying way far behind, knowing that he can come in later since they do actually have tanky front lines.
Well,
all three teams.
that's a really good point, Joe Bray. The thing about that too is, like, yeah, they have the tankiness and they have the AoE coming out from Sunfire and Renekton. So all he has to do is clean up. There's the fight.
Zoro does get the steal for T1S, and now they're going to go into the fight. Wolf is protected with that command protect from Easy, and meanwhile Marin goes in deep to try to keep his teammates safe. And Lilac actually jumps in to maybe get the finisher, but Marin gets the counter kill. What a turnaround by T1S. Horo looking absolutely calm after that steal. Wow.
This is so, you know, IM #1. It's like, they're such a heartbreaker team. I mean,
they're back.
This is like back-to-back massive mistakes that they've made when they were firmly in control of this game.
Wow, and that steal wasn't even instant. It's just Horo came in, and as soon as he went in a bit early on purpose.
That was just a bad call from IM #1. They should have just turned right there and had confidence that they would win that team fight and then finish. They shouldn't have tried to finish, and now SKT won, and wow.
Windwall isn't going to block that, but they do narrowly all escape. Horo was slowed by the glitter lance. Oh, nice save from Wolf to keep them away.
You have to be really careful, because at a certain point, Whimsy gives you like an additional 50% movement speed, or, you know, it gets really high up there. So the chase potential from a champion like this mid Lulu with a bunch of AP items is extremely high.
All right, so T1S got a bit greedy, but they still get the Baron and the inhibitor. I'm just impressed that Horo was confident in his teammates to go in early before this. Might still look at this. He goes in, not at the last minute, but early enough so that his teammates can come in and help zone. And Horo just waltzes around there.
Oh, he
kicks the dragon straight up to Lilac.
Ah, that's what did it, because he was trying to prevent the execution percent health damage, or percent health missing damage from the Elise execute. So that was very good play by Horo in order to pick that one up.
And Marin goes in to keep his teammates alive, and they can focus on just that Renekton kill. That's how all IM fans should have felt after that play. Man. Well, gotta give props to T1S. They looked a bit passive and indecisive at first, but they've made the more important plays, one could say, in this game so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, IM #1, this is the importance that you have to have that. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but you've got to know if you're turning, if you're finishing, and you have to make that right call around the Baron. And it's a little bit of a mistake right there. IM should have turned immediately and not put themselves in a dangerous situation. Taking out that tier 2 mid turret, though. puts them a little bit closer to their opponents again. 5K gold lead has opened up for T1S. Good sweeps right there. They're trying to set up a pick around this dragon coming up in 1 minute.
Marin taking the long way around to make sure he can prepare for this possible bottom tower
This
push.
is smart right here. SK Telecom's been blacked out. There's just no information right now, so they're not even going to take a risk about going through their own jungle.
From an observer's standpoint, IM looks very silly right now.
Well, no, this is actually smart by S, though, and they're going to have to go back.
Yeah.
That was a good play. Finally, it looks like they've got some decisive shot calling, and they're making the right decisions.
I mean,
just moving as a 5-man. Look at what they're doing, too. They're just staying right outside of the fog of war. They're trying to bait. I mean, this is not going to work. There's nobody else on the map right now.
Both teams just trying to go for these baits. I mean, can't blame them. They're trying to set up whatever they can without...
That's just good, though. They wait until the wave is pushed to fully show, and they do catch, IM with a little bit of a misposition. They'll get some free damage on this turret. They won't be able to take it out, but that's 50% of the turret, over 50% gone.
Oh, they're going to tank
Oh, they got it.
With that Baron buff, they're able to tank, and of course, passive from Lucian. Going to help with that, and the calling to keep them zoned so the minions can help take out this inhibitor. Is IM going to... No, they're not even going to be able to go for a fight. Nice snare coming in from Wolf. The Solar Flare also misses the stun. Oh, Viewing goes in way ahead of his team. The Stranglethorn keeps the entire IM team separated. How is this fight going to turn out? Smeb still pushing through. There's the wild growth, but the damage isn't falling. A nice 3-man shockwave once again from Easy Hood. Viewing comes back in. Marin, meanwhile, has finished off Violet and joins his team for a fight. They chase away Smeb, and that should be game for T1S. Oh, actually, they get the team wipe.
Wow. Horo was the hero of that fight again. He managed to get into the back line and kick Caitlyn out of the fight, and without that damage there was no way that IM was going to finish that. And Marin just cleaning everybody up. A surprising turnaround from SKTS off the back of a sensational ult combo and then a fantastic Baron steal from Horo.
Oh man, such a good play. Leading from that Dragon's Rage, it allowed Marin to jump right onto Caitlyn. Kept pretty much the only damage in the late game for IM out of that entire fight. Looking at it right now on our screen.
That was a really good zone. And Marin gets on. After the Dragon's Rage, Marin got on top of him with his ultimate, and then he got finished off by Sonic Wave from Lee Sin. You guys can't see it. We're watching it right now. It's very impressive team play.
Yeah, and that kept Violet so